Hare Krishna. So I'm ready now. So let's quick Jai Radha Mother will do. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda Radhe Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda Radhe Jaya Pancha Tattva Jaya Pancha Tattva Jaya Pancha Tattva Jaya Pancha Tattva Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. So thank you very much for joining the Zoom call for this Friday evening class. So today, I thought I would speak a little bit about serving Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, our Lord and Master. So today is the 11th September. 19 years ago, there was a terrorist attack in US. And this terrorist attack killed at least 3,000 people and injured many thousands of people. We think the life is so nice, and people in general make so many endeavors. Every endeavor of people is to see how I can enjoy better in the future. Every endeavor. They work hard and hard and hard and hard, and they make so many plans, every human beings in this world. And one thing, how can I enjoy in the future? But the world is a terrible place. And some of the things that we don't want to see them happen, but they happen so without our will. This is Kali Yuga. And there is danger in every step. Padam yat vipadam. Every step there is a danger. Only when we hear devotees, only when we read Prabhupada books, only when we read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, that we will be reminded of this truth, that there is a danger in this world, that better I surrender now. But when we don't read, when this is for myself, this morning I heard Sutapa speaking from Bhaktivedanta Manor, and really eye-opener. So it just reminds us the truth that there is a danger in every step. But what I'm trying to do in my daily life, I'm making so many plans so that I enjoy better in the future. forgetting that there is a danger in every step in this world. So it was a nice reminder this morning when Sutta Prabhu spoke about this incident. So, and in this Kali Yuga, Kalim Sattva Haram Pumsam. Kali, the characteristics of Kali Yuga is that it steals away the goodness. That is, steals away the goodness in the people. Sattva Haram Pumsam. Kali is a thief which will steal the good qualities in every beings. What kind of thief is that? It will steal away the good qualities of people in general. So we are born. We are born in this Kali Yuga, but somehow or other we came in touch with the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. How wonderful is that? So I felt that although there are so many dangers, let us feel happy that somehow or other we came in touch with the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and see how we can make best use of this opportunity, having come to the association of Srila Prabhupada. See how best we can make use of this opportunity. So this class, I will make it interactive rather than just me speaking. So I may ask some of you to read out some passages or ask some questions as well. Interactive. So let me begin with one incident. Once a group of devotees from another line of discipline came to Bhaktivedanta Manor. A group of devotees. They don't belong to ISKCON, but they belong to other line. So they were questioned by one of the devotees in manner that what is your shloka from Bhagavatam? What is the important shloka that you think that will inspire you from Bhagavatam? And so they quoted one of the beautiful verse, and I will just share it here. And this is from third canto. Let me see if I can share that. Okay, right, that one there. I hope you can see that. Let me put this verse. So the devotees, the head of the devotees from another line of Sampradaya, they quoted this verse. Prasangam ajaram pasham atmanaha kavayo vidhu saye vasadushu kruto mokshadvaram apavrutam. Third canto, 25th chapter, text 20. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But the same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. So everyone gets attached. There is an attachment tendency in every living entity in this world. But that attachment, when we apply to the material things, what happens is that same attachment will bind us, entangle us in the repeated cycle of birth and death. Prasangam ajaram pasham. This attachment will entangle more and more when we apply the attachment to the material things. But if we just transfer, attachment cannot be given up. Attachment will always be there, just like desire will always be there. So this attachment, if we transfer, sayeva sadhushu kruto, if we transfer the same attachment to the saintly people, and what happens? The result is completely opposite. What happens? Moksha dwaram avrutam. It opens the door of liberation. When we apply our attachment to the material things, it will entangle us. And the same attachment, when we apply to the sadhus or saintly people, will open the door of liberation. Attachment cannot be given up. And Prabhupada mentioned this in this purport, that just like imagine that you are at a T-junction. At a T-junction, you have to turn either left or right. And one path leads to repeated birth and death. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, repeated birth and death, one path. And the other path that leads to the liberation takes you eventually to spiritual world, to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So obviously devotees will choose the path that leads to the liberation. And how can we get onto that path? Simply by serving the saintly people, by associating with the saintly people. So I'll show one more thing, and let me share the screen. Let me see. I hope you can see these pictures here. So this is a picture of a chemical structure of sodium ferrocyanide. We all know that cyanide is highly poisonous, extremely toxic in nature. Just by the scientists who try to taste it to find out the taste of the cyanide, it just he just tasted, and with pen he just written S, and then he died. We don't know whether it is sweet or sour. So cyanide is such a poisonous thing, but you can see here a little bit of chemistry, that when it is in combination with other elements, sodium ferrocyanide, this is called, and when it is in association with iron and sodium, so it becomes completely non-toxic. It is actually edible. You'll be shocked to know that it is edible. It is used as an anti-caking agent in some of the salts. When you buy salt from Tesco or any supermarket, have a look at the label. They write here, it contains sodium ferrocyanide. What it does is when it came with the iron, when it associates with iron, it loses its toxic potency. Similarly, when we associate with saintly people, when we serve saintly people, our bad qualities will disappear. So let's see what else I can do. So in the Bhagavatam, in the second canto of Bhagavatam, second chapter, first canto of Bhagavatam, there were a series of verses given. Let's read some of these verses. They're very beautiful. And then we will talk how we can serve Srila Prabhupada. So can I have a volunteer, please, for reading these verses? You may raise your hand, or you can simply unmute yourself and do it. Just 1 second. Chapter 2. Share. Okay. So from verse 17 onwards, verse 17 to 21. Can I have a volunteer, please? Can somebody read it out?
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. As soon as
Irrevocable.
Irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. Thus, established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Thus, the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive action is terminated when one sees the self as master.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So I'm getting a little bit echo. Okay, better now. Okay. So here, a sequence of steps are given. When one serves a pure devotee, one gets affinity for hearing Krishna Katha. When we serve pure devotee, we develop urge to hear Krishna Katha. Now, currently, we have urge, but to a very little degree. But when we serve the devotees, we will get the urge immediately. Urge means you have to do it immediately. So we develop the urge to hear Krishna Katha. And so when we read this Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, when we do Bhagavat Seva, then all that is troublesome to heart will be vanquished. So this is called a medicine for our conditioned life. So our conditioned life is that it actually takes us away from Krishna. That is because we are conditioned. It's not just happening like, we have acquired that nature by going through a number of lives from time immemorial. That is called inauspiciousness. Yes, we want to serve Krishna, but we are unable to serve. We want to serve a pure devotee, but we are unable to serve the degree we wanted, because there is that thing, inauspiciousness in the heart, which is taking away from Krishna. So the simple remedy is Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. When we serve Bhagavatas, automatically all that is in troublesome to the heart will be disappear. There are two types of Bhagavatas. There is book Bhagavatam and the Person Bhagavatam. We are very lucky. We have Person Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada. And the same Person Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada had also given us book Bhagavatam. Yes, how wonderful. Without the purports of Srila Prabhupada, we can't understand Bhagavatam. Although it is available, it is not easy to understand Bhagavatam. There were not many devotees before Prabhupada Bhagavatam. So we are in a great situation. We have Person Bhagavatam Prabhupada, and the same Person Bhagavatam gave book Bhagavatam. How lucky we can. Prabhupada says that if one serves either of them, either book or Person Bhagavatam, one will progress in spiritual life. One will be able to eradicate the inauspicious, the troublesome. All that is troublesome to the heart can be eradicated by serving one of them. And how do we serve book Bhagavatam? By reading it on a regular basis, by hearing it, by practicing what is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Try to practice. And how do we serve Person Bhagavatam? So this is my question. How do we serve Person Bhagavatam? So if you want to answer, you can type in or unmute and say so. How do we serve Person Bhagavatam? What is the best way to serve Person Bhagavatam? And also, because, let's answer the first question. How do we serve Person Bhagavatam?
From what I've heard, we can do either physically or just carry out their instruction. But carrying out their instruction is more pleasing to the spiritual master. Because that reminds me of a story that once a devotee asked, who's closest to you, and Prabhupada mentioned that there was a fly sitting on his lap or something like that, and said, it replied to the devotee that, see, this fly is sitting so close to me.
Yes.
It's causing more, inconvenience than being close. So carry on a spiritual master or Bhagavatam instruction is more pleasing to the devotees, really.
Wonderful. I couldn't have got a better answer than that. And even I heard Prabhupada saying, actually, I heard that lecture about this fly. So Prabhupada said, fly or mosquito, I don't know, that it is close to me, but is actually disturbing me. But even in the case of Prabhupada also, he had a very little association of his Guru Maharaj. And he took the instruction and he tried to follow that instruction. Absolutely right, Govinda Prabhu, spot on, that following the instructions. And, Srila Prabhupada is not here physically, right? So how do we serve Srila Prabhupada? If he's not here physically, and the same message, message can be applied. Whatever Govinda Prabhu mentioned, although he's not here physically, we can follow his instructions. That is service. Following his instructions is service. And I want to just illustrate this formula and see how a devotee got purified. A simple procedure is that when we serve the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to gone, all that is troublesome to the heart is gone. What modes cause troublesome to the heart? We would like to say. What modes induce trouble to our heart and mind? There are three modes we know: a mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Which modes will cause disturbance to the mind and heart?
passion and ignorance, Prabhuji?
Excellent, Mataji. Thank you. So when we serve this book Bhagavatam and person Bhagavatam, they will be vanquished, they will be destroyed. Then we come to goodness. And then that's when the knowledge develops. And let's read a little bit actually how this has happened in the case of a devotee. Here, chapter 5. I need another volunteer to read some of these verses. Let me see. I'll put here and it's gone. Okay. Okay. So from text 23, I will stop. If you can continue to read, there are a few verses. Somebody can read.
Can I, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Yeah, can you share the screen, Prabhuji?
Oh, sorry. I thought I shared it. Right, done. Text 23, onwards.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Muni, in the last millennium, I was born as the son of a certain maidservant engaged in the service of Brahmanas who were following the principles of Vedanta. When they were living together during the 4 months of the rainy season, I was engaged in their personal service. Text 24. Although they were impartial by nature, those followers of the Vedanta blessed me with their causeless mercy. As far as I was concerned, I was self-controlled and I had no attachment for sports, even though I was a boy. In addition, I was not naughty and I did not speak more than required. Text 25. Once only by their permission I took the remnants of their food, and by so doing all my sins were once eradicated. The being engaged, I became purified in heart. And at that time, the very nature of the transcendentalist became attractive to me. Text 26. O Vyasadeva, in that association and by the mercy of those great
Yeah. Haribol? We lost you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Vedantist, I could hear them, and thus literally my taste for hearing of the personality of Yes, Prabhuji. Oh, great sage. As soon as I got a taste of the personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching, and as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in my ignorance that I had accepted grass and no settled coverings for both the Lord and I are transcendental. Text 28. That during 2 seasons, in the rainy season and autumn, I had the opportunity to hear these great soul sages constantly chant the uh, undu-
Unadulterated.
unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began to, coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanished. Text 29. I was very much attached to those sages. I was gentle in behavior, and all my sins were eradicated in their service. In my heart, I had strong faith in them. I had subjugated the senses, and I was strictly following them with the body and mind.
That's
Text.
fine, Mataji. That's absolutely fine. Thank you.
Hare
So, yeah, in these verses, you can see there are steps. Narada Muni is describing his past life to Vasudev. And he mentions that he was a son of maid servant. That means by birth he had no great qualification. Somehow or other, he came in touch with the saintly people called Bhakti Vedantas. So his mother was serving, he also served them. And see, so basically this is what he's doing, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So when he served the Bhaktivedantas, so what happened? Automatically, he mentions that, all that is troublesome to heart is gone in their association by their mercy. And of course, with their association, he became Narad from being a son of maid servant. And here, in that purport, Prabhupada writes that serving Lord's devotees is greater than serving the Lord himself. I repeat that point. Serving the Lord's devotees is greater than serving the Lord himself. You know why? Lord himself serves his own devotees. I repeat, Lord himself serves or desires to serve his own devotees. Can anybody give an example where Lord is willing to serve his own devotees or served his own devotees?
Sudama.
Okay. Yes, speak a little bit. One minute. Quick one.
Sudama, Prabhu.
Yes, you want to say a little bit about it? Just say, just a few words.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Sudama was Krishna's childhood friend, and on the request of his wife, after Krishna became king, Sudama went to see Krishna, who is now a rich person externally. And obviously, Sudama only wanted to see the friend instead of asking for any benefits. But Krishna obviously knows what's in the devotee's heart. So he was very, very happy to see his old friend, and very nicely washed his feet and offered him food, and even accepted some very, very humble offerings that Sudama had carried with him. Even though Queen Rukmini requested Krishna not to consume because they were dry, stale pieces of food, grain. But Krishna accepts them and serves his friend very nicely.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Any other example? Govinda Prabhu, you opened your camera. You wanted to...
It reminds me of when Krishna took the position of Arjuna as like a chariot. And this is quite significant. It become someone's chariot is quite many job, because it was happened to be like in a battlefield, and it was quite a lot of noise involved in that. And that it actually reminded me first time I heard that, it was like shook me. Because in that chariot, when Arjuna could not talk to Krishna, so in order to tell Krishna to turn left and right, Arjuna had to kick Krishna left and right in order to indicate where to turn left or right. And I quite remember very clearly that the time when I heard that Arjuna was kicking the Supreme Personality of Godhead, obviously, because of the situation. I'll never forget that moment. So how much love Supreme Godhead can have for his devotees to accept such a menial job and to be in that position. So that's one more example. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you. And there is one more also very dear. We recently celebrated Vaman Dvadashi, appearance of Vaman Dev, and being pleased for Bali's devotion, Bali Maharaj's devotion, and Vaman Dev became gatekeeper of Bali Maharaj's palace in Sutala planet. So Krishna, what to speak of us, but Krishna desire to serve his devotees. So how much it means to us as well. So we should never take this easily. Krishna is desiring to serve. And Krishna says, Sadhavo Rudayam Mayam Sadhunam Rudayam Tvaham. Krishna is there in everyone's heart, but who is there in Krishna's heart? The saintly people are there. So we can talk like that. So So far, we discussed that attachment cannot be given up. If we apply our attachment and desires to the material things, that will entangle us in the material existence. Whereas that same desires and attachment, if we apply to the saintly people, that will open a door of liberation for us. And we have seen the simple example of Narada Muni, being son of maid servant, nicely serving these Bhakti Vedantas, how he became Narad. And we also have Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and we can serve. Try and serve our level best. And Govinda Prabhu defined the service. Service means not just by in close proximity, being in close proximity, but actually following their instructions and do what they want us to do and please them that way. So what service pleases Srila Prabhupada? Now another interactive. So, there are so many services, there are so many things. So which one should we do? Or is there just one service is greater than other, or just any service? Anything that, what pleases, like, what instruction if we follow of Srila Prabhupada, that pleases him. Anybody wants to say?
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Often, there could be a lot of sort of unlimited ways that a spiritual master can be pleased, but the first thing comes to my mind is by spreading Krishna consciousness, or in other words, bringing the conditioned souls closer to Krishna. That's what's most pleasing to spiritual master and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted this love of God to be spread. So it's just always remind me when a father, a mother, or father in this occasion, when somebody brings his children back, that's most pleasing to them. So Prabhupada mentioned, when it comes to Prabhupada, we know book distribution. Again, book distribution is served that bringing people closer to Krishna and reawaken that love. So that love, again, bring people closer to Krishna. So when bring one person, even Prabhupada said, if I can make one person Krishna conscious, my job is almost complete. So when people bring people back closer to Krishna by different means and methods, that's most pleasing, I would say, to Srila Prabhupada in this occasion.
Yes, thank you. So once Sutapa Prabhu was giving this definition, what do you mean by preaching? How do you define preaching? Bring someone closer to Krishna. Make someone faith in Krishna stronger. Yes, anybody wants to share anything else? Madhav Kumar Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll just agree with what Rajakumar Govinda Prabhu said. In other words, or in similar words, really, pleasing the master would be doing whatever you can so that you enable other people to access the same mercy. It's a people's movement, essentially. And what was the need for Mahaprabhu to get to the streets? And what was the need for Prabhupada to start a movement at a ripe age where he was ready to retire? It was only because of the spirit of distributing the love of God to as many people as possible. So it's the same mood we take on ourselves, that whatever we can do, whether it's book distribution or Harinam or temple deity service or lecture preaching, anything that enables more people to access that merciful love of God can be classed as effectively serving the spiritual master.
Good. Anything else anybody wanted to say on this service? What is service? How we can serve Srila Prabhupada?
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Prabhuji, I think reading Prabhupada books is a service of Prabhupada, because after reading you can understand what Prabhupada wants to tell you, and then you can preach after that. And after understanding his books, then you can bring someone in Krishna consciousness. I think this is my understanding.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's no right or wrong. It's good to hear from devotees, and that's why I wanted to make it a little interactive. So
that note, I would like to mention, sometimes, people, it's quite common that people would think of direct sort of service. If somebody's going on Harinam and somebody stays behind cleaning the temple or cooking for devotees or making garlands, something, that's as good as, So any service in any magnitude, in any form, is so pleasing to Guru and the Lord, really. So we should always remember, it doesn't matter what some people, what we do. As I said, if you stay behind, doing very, very minor things, but your heart is just, to please the Lord. So that's as important, really.
thank you. Thank you for sharing that wonderful point. Prabhupada did mention that if you sincerely sweep the floor, wash the pots, and go on Harinam or book distribution, whatever, with sincerity to please, because to run any organization, any institution, there are a number of things. Even this, we are all coming and hearing now. This is service. Hearing is a service. When you come and hear, and someone else will also come, because I'm not coming, attending the class. It doesn't motivate others to come as well. Just someone, you being there, someone else will also come. And this me giving class is another service. One day my service, someone else will give another service, another thing. So to make this movement forward, there are a number of services. Not only bring the new people, but also look after the existing people. You bring so many you bring people, but you don't look after, you don't strengthen their Krishna consciousness. What happens? There are a number of services, and that we require a little bit of patience and intelligence to understand. Sometimes someone's service may be visible, sometimes may not be visible. But we should never come to this conclusion, judgment, simply that I am doing and not others are doing. So we should see what we can do. And also, if you are not doing any service to Prabhupada, then see how we can develop, how we can take that responsibility. Whatever, even Madhu Mataji said, that's fine, absolutely fine. Prabhupada had written so many books. Imagine, while managing and having sleep for only 2 hours, he had compiled written so many books. Reading them is a wonderful service. Following them is a wonderful service. And see, what is your propensity? Somebody likes to do some service. Somebody's see what propensity. What is your propensity? Somebody wants to give class. Somebody wants to clean. Somebody wants to cook. Somebody wants to manage. So there are a number of things that one can do, but see where you fit in, and at least try and do that. Somehow or other, be in connection with Prabhupada. There is one story, one incident, actually, Radhanath Swami mentioned. I think most of you know this, but I just wanted to repeat. Once, His Holiness Radhanath Swami was giving a lecture to accountants in Mumbai. And at the end of discourse, one accountant stood up and he raised his hand, he challenged Maharaj, he questioned Maharaj. He said that, Swamiji, you are telling that, we should practice this spirituality. what if everyone in the world becomes a Swami like you? Who would do accounting? Who would do cooking? Who would bring vegetables? Who would grow vegetables? Who would, there are number of millions of services. Who would manage? So Maharaj, he said that he took a little time and he just offered prayer, and then he answered his question. And he said that, what if everyone becomes an accountant like you? What everyone in this world becomes an accountant like you? Actually, nobody needs an accountant. If everybody's an accountant, nobody needs an accountant. Just like, so we all have different things. If we all just do one service, if everybody wants to only preach, only give class, and then who would do other things? So we all require, it is good that we don't have same propensity, which is good. We don't have same talents, which is good, which is not bad actually, which is good. Yes. And because it adds up. Different people do different things. So everything with sincerity. Let's read a couple of quotes. And so share screen. Yeah, somebody can read this quote from Prabhupada.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
The spiritual master and Krishna are two parallel lines. The train on two tracks moves forward. The spiritual master and Krishna are like these two tracks. They must be served simultaneously. Krishna helps one to find bona fide spiritual master, and bona fide spiritual master helps one to understand Krishna. If one does not get bona fide spiritual master, then how he can ever understand Krishna? You cannot serve Krishna without spiritual master, or serve just spiritual master without serving Krishna. They must be served simultaneously.
So thank you very much, Mataji. There is another quote by His Holiness Radhanath Swami. And you can carry on, Mataji, reading these three quotes. There are three quotes.
Okay. Real love means service devoted to the welfare of another person, even if the person is inimical towards us. That is the test of love. To the degree our service is free from motivation, to that degree our service will generate love for Krishna.
So this is one point, it really struck me from Maharaj's quote, that in the service, there should not be motivation. If the service is free from motivation, and to that degree, our service will generate love for Krishna. There are other quotes I just wanted to show, and we can probably read as well. Wonderful quotes. Just give me 1 second, I'll find them out. Yeah, so there, yeah. Okay, let's read this beautiful quote by Prabhupada. Somebody else can probably read this quote. Can you see this?
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Pavan, he can read it.
Okay.
Pavan, idigo. Chinnade kodu.
Hare Krishna. You lost.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Please.
There may be rivalries and apparent competitions between servants in performing service, but in the vacant planet, the service of another servant is appreciated, not condemned. This is Vaikuntha competition.
Jai. So we should not be inimical to each other. A Vaikuntha atmosphere means we appreciate each other's service. Hmm? If you have a weakness, if I have a weakness, you can support me. Hmm? We should be like that. We should appreciate each other's service rather than being inimical. Prabhupada mentions a wonderful point. This is another, when we do service, that is how we should do. We should appreciate each other. And we should never think I'm doing a greater service than others. And sometimes if we think like that, we may lose the opportunity to serve as well, which is the greatest danger. The greatest danger, according to like my understanding, that losing the opportunity to serve devotees, serve Srila Prabhupada. We should appreciate. You remember this wonderful story when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was going through Jericonda forest. Jericonda forest. And, there was an incident happened with the animals, tiger, deer, and other animals. So he splashed some water while he was taking bath. And then these animals started chanting Hare Krishna. And even in Vrindavan, all these animals, they lost animosity. Is that right word? Yes, animal nature to each other. So when we put Krishna in the center, then our inimical nature will disappear. Just like all these tigers and deers playing together, just imagine. That is Vrindavan. There is a verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's how we should be. We should be supporting each other. Never think that our service is greater than others. And I will give this example. You know, Dhruva Maharaj. In the story of Dhruva Maharaj, Prabhupada gives, there is a wonderful point. So Dhruva Maharaj had a stepbrother. Anybody remembers his name? Uttama. Uttama. Uttama had mother. You know, what is Uttama's mother name? Anybody remembers?
Surichi?
Okay, one of them. It is, yes, we always get confused. Surichi, Sunichi. Okay, so when Uttama, we know that Dhruva Maharaj wanted to sit on his father's lap, but his stepmother said something, and then his mother advised that you go and worship Lord Krishna. He is the father of everything. He will fulfill everyone's desire, like that. And Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest, and he did what he did, and he saw Krishna face to face. So, and later, at some point, this Uttama, the stepbrother of Dhruv, he went to the forest, and he fought with the Yakshas, and he actually lost in the battle. He died. And Uttama's mother also went, and she died while searching him. And Prabhupada said one important thing. And I read the purport many years ago, and still to this date, it is very fresh in my mind. So Prabhupada said, why did stepmother of Dhruv died in that way in the forest? Prabhupada says that she offended Dhruv. But when she offended Dhruv, that time he was not a pure devotee. When she offended Dhruv, he was not a pure devotee. So, but Prabhupada says, because he became a pure devotee later, that effect, she had it later. So just because, I'm doing certain service today, I never think that, I'm the only person doing it. Or someone else will do better service than us tomorrow. That is the consciousness. We should never think that this person is not doing today, but he may do it a better service tomorrow. This is just understanding. It doesn't mean that we become complacent. And as I mentioned, that I make so many endeavors just to how can I enjoy my life? How can I please my family members? But as I read, as I hear, that every time when I hear, it reminds me that my endeavors will go in vain. Definitely, there is a danger in every step in this Kali Yuga. So having come in touch with the Srila Prabhupada, let's use this wonderful opportunity. Let's support each other. Let's encourage each other. Let's be honest. Let's be truthful. Let's be sincere in serving Srila Prabhupada. Take a genuine responsibility. How I can serve Srila Prabhupada. Read his books, and his books will tell what Prabhupada likes. So Prabhupada said one thing, that please, you do service with your sincerity, but do not offend devotees. That is the important thing. There is one little incident with Duryodhan and Yudhishthir. The guru is Dronacharya. So Dronacharya asked Duryodhan, go and find out and see if there is one good person or one good quality you can find in any other person. So Duryodhan, he had a look around and he said that I can't see a better person. I can't see any good quality that I don't have, someone else has. That I can't learn anything, that I can learn from someone. So this is how Duryodhan saw, that I can't see any good quality in anyone. But when Yudhishthir was asked to do the same job, but in a reverse way, that try and see a bad quality, one bad quality in one person. And he says that, no, I can't see. I can learn at least one good quality from each and every person. So with sincere heart, that we should endeavor to serve Srila Prabhupada. Not easy. Coming in touch with Prabhupada is not easy. We are so fortunate, extremely fortunate to have this wonderful association. Better not to miss this boat. We can have another birth because material nature will provide so many births. That is it. 8,400,000 species of life that exist, and material nature provides so many bodies. But let's try and better utilize. See always, see how can I serve Srila Prabhupada. At the age of 60, you can't imagine. I'm getting closer to 50 now, and so many changes I can see in my own body. At the age of 60, 70, left for US, and he took so much pain for the welfare of others. This is the nature of saintly person. They just simply work for the benefit of others. And so this so 9th Wednesday was the appearance of Srila Prabhupada arriving in US. So I thought, let us talk a little bit about Prabhupada. That's why I chose this topic. So I thought I said what I wanted to say. So I would like to leave it there. Just final summary is that one thing, a simple thing, serving pure devotees is actually is greater than serving the Lord himself. And we have that opportunity. We have that opportunity of serving regularly. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We can do that. We have two Bhagavatams, Srimad Bhagavatam in the form of book, and Person Bhagavatam Prabhupada in the form of his instructions in the books and in his lectures. So we got that, and we can just try and see how we can serve. And this is the best medicine for our material existence. Let us take this medicine on a daily basis. This dose is very important, a daily dose of this medicine. Serving Book Bhagavatam and Person Bhagavatam is very important. And try and see how I'm doing some service, but how can I improve the quality? How can I serve better? And Krishna and Prabhupada, they will change your life itself. Sometimes we don't have time, but Krishna, Prabhupada will create more time in our life. I've seen some devotees, they do 100 services, you give 101, they do that service. But some devotees, they might not be doing any service. You give one service, they may not be able to do it. I've seen. So Krishna and Prabhupada, they will adjust our life in such a way that we will be able to serve Prabhupada and Krishna. One bottom line, that never offend any other devotees. Never come to some conclusion, never come to some judgment that I am the only person who is doing service, not others are doing service. We should never think like that. And sometimes we also don't see what the other person is going through. We don't see. We don't see at all. So there are a number of services that see what we can do. And please, Srila Prabhupada. So Hare Krishna, and I am very grateful for the opportunity today. And also I'm very grateful for all the devotees for kindly keeping me in their shelter. So thank you very much. If anybody has any comments, any corrections, anything they wanted to add, please do so.
One question, I mean, it's related to this week of Shravanam week. How was, I mean, nowadays we hear, we were actually the action of hearing, it happens through a lot of like lectures being recorded on tapes and YouTube and all these media. How was that possible when there was no internet and there was no tape recorder? How was that possible? I mean, it's so much stress on hearing. So some devotees, I mean, people couldn't even, there was not many cards, and I'm talking about maybe 100 years back. How would people hear, from the other devotees?
Yeah. Yes, thank you for that question. Madhakumar Prabhu, you raised your hand. You want to comment or answer that question?
No, I'll let you comment. I just had something else to share.
Okay, so Prabhu, 100 years back, so there were devotees speaking. So when Sutta Goswami spoke, the sages heard many days. So there was Bhagavad Katha by the devotees, and they were hearing, and small groups, but they were more peaceful because of this internet and everything. So we are getting distracted. But let's ask this question: having all these facilities, how much we are able to use them? So yes, definitely they had this Bhagavad Katha on a regular basis. Saintly people were always giving classes, giving lectures. So that's why they were able to hear in the past. I know it's easy, but you're right in one way that we are blessed. We got just everything in the hand. Yes, in our phone we got everything. Just in the phone we have everything, and see how best we can use this opportunity. Yes, Madhakumar Prabhu.
Thank you for that, Prabhuji. Yes, I was listening to Radhanath Maharaj, and he was making a reference to Mahaprabhu spending regular time reading and discussing with his associates like Gadadhar Pandit several hours of Srimad Bhagavatam on a regular basis.
True.
And then they would cry so much so that their notes will get washed away.
Yes. This Bhagavatam. Yeah, thank you for reminding that. Yes.
Yeah, and we were listening to this is a week of Shravanam. Vijay Kumar Govinda Prabhu mentioned, and Sutapa Prabhu was interviewed by Tapan Mishra Prabhu last week at the start of the Shravanam week. And Sutta Prabhu was saying that reading of Prabhupada's books is compared to taking a shower in the morning. And what that does is it not just wakes you up, but cleans your body, but more importantly, gives you a perspective to life. And if you go out without having a shower or without having the instructions of Prabhupada's book and without having a perspective, you have a potency or possibility of deviating from the right track. So that's an analogy as to how useful and important reading the books is. And reading is hearing.
Yes,
so just wanted to share that. We will be continuing discussing Srila Prabhupada's contribution and the gift of his association in our lives. On Sunday, we have a guest speaker, Shakti Avesh Avatar Prabhu. He's going to talk about Prabhupada as well. So we'll continue this topic that you very nicely opened up today.
Right, thank you. So with regards to taking shower, Prabhu, I just wanted to comment one thing. We got two bodies, the gross body and the subtle body. So in the morning with water, we take the shower for the gross body, but the subtle body, the mind and intelligence and ego, how do we take shower or bath for the subtle body? By reading and hearing. So that is the way we cleanse our mind and intelligence and ego. Subtle body will be cleansed by regular hearing. So there is one comment from Sumudra Radhika Mataji. Thank you very much, Mataji, for that comment. And also you mentioned that Lord is also Lord is also served Draupadi. Thank you. So as Madhav Kumar Prabhu said, that Sunday, Shakti Avatar Prabhu will be talking on Prabhupada. Please take the opportunity to tune in for usual time. And so next week, starting from 17th to 23rd, we have World Holy Name Week. So in this week, devotees are encouraged to more kirtan, more chanting, and hear more about the glories of holy name. So we thought we would do Maha Harinam, but the thing is, with the current guidelines and government guidelines, existing COVID situation, we were advised it may not be appropriate to do Maha Harinams at this time. So that's why we are not heading in that direction. So Friday 18th class, it is a Bhajan Sandhya, which will be dedicated for the holy name bhajans. And Sunday 20th class will be dedicated to the glories of holy name. So that's it. And I really thank each and every one of you for kindly taking this time and being with us tonight, and really appreciate. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Krishna Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanandi.
Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna. Vaishnava. Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.